Greetings aspirants, welcome back to the daily current affairs analysis by CivicCentre IAS, where we shall discuss important relevant articles from the UPSC CSE Prelims perspective. But before that, as we bid farewell to this year, let's celebrate the wins, embrace the lessons and look ahead with the run-year determination. The year may be ending, but your journey is just beginning. So keep striving, dreaming and achieving. Well, let's start our discussion with the first article. It says that during the 5-year term of the 17th Lok Sabha that ended in the year 2024, only 9.08 hours were spent on the private member bills, while the Rajya Sabha spent 27.01 hours on them during the period, which is shown by an analysis by the PRS Legislative Research, an independent research body. In this context, let's talk about the private members bill. So, what exactly is a private members bill? Simply put, it's a bill introduced by any member of parliament who is not a minister, and these bills introduced by private members are referred to as the private member bills. But what is the purpose of such bills? See, the purpose of a private members bill is twofold. First, to draw the government's attention to pressing issues or the gaps in our legal framework. And second, it is to reflect the perspectives of the opposition parties or individual MPs on matters of public interest. In the essence, these bills serve as a vital tool to ensure that important concerns do not go unnoticed. And now, let's look at the key features of private member bills. To start with, the MPs who intends to move a private members bill must give at least a month's notice. This notice is crucial as it gives the House Secretariat enough time to examine the bill for compliance with the constitutional provisions and the legislative rules. Now next, drafting the bill is entirely the responsibility of the member introducing it. But unlike the government bills, which are backed by the entire ministries, private members bill relies solely on the efforts of the proposing MP. And here's an interesting point about when these bills can be discussed. See, know that while government bills can be introduced and debated on any day, private members' bills are exclusively discussed on only the Fridays. But what happens if a private member bill get rejected? So, know that unlike government bills, the rejection of a private member's bill has no impact on the parliamentary confidence in the government. That means that the government is not required to resign if a private member's bill doesn't pass. Now, some of the examples of private members' bills that became laws are Proceedings of Legislature, Protection of Publication Bill 1956, Salaries and Allowances of Members of Parliament Amendment Bill 1964, the Indian Penal Code Amendment Bill 1967. So, how do private members' bill differ from the government bills? Let's break it down. Know that government bills are introduced by ministers, while the private members' bills are proposed by the individual MPs who are not the ministers. And government bills can be introduced and discussed on any day, but private members' bills are only taken up on Fridays. Next, government bills don't require any prior notice, whereas private member bills requires at least 1 month notice before the introduction. Lastly, government bills reflect the policies of the ruling government, but private member bills can come from the ruling or opposition party MPs. The next article is that a 2-member fact-finding committee of the National Commission for Women arrived in Chennai from New Delhi on Monday to investigate the sexual assault on a 19-year-old engineering student in the Anna University campus on December 23rd. So, in this context, let's talk about the National Commission for Women. Know that it was established in the year 1992 under the National Commission for Women Act 1990. Remember, it operates under the Ministry of Women and Child Development of the Government of India, which serves as the nodal ministry for the Commission. Know that the primary purpose of the National Commission for Women is to protect and promote the rights of women in India. Significantly, it plays a pivotal role in reviewing issues affecting the women and also addressing their complaints and recommending measures to enhance their rights. And it's a watchdog for women's welfare and empowerment in the country. Now, let's understand how the NCW is structured. So, according to the Section 3 of NCW Act, the commission comprises a chairperson who must be deeply committed to the cause of the women. Additionally, 5 members selected for their ability, integrity, and experience in fields such as law, education, administration, and health. Notably, at least 1 member must belong to the scheduled caste and another to the scheduled tribe. Furthermore, a member secretary who could either be an expert in management, organizational structure, or sociological movements, or a civil servant with the relevant experience. And know that each chairperson and member serves a term of 3 years. However, the term can be cut short under specific conditions such as insolvency, engaging in paid employment outside their duties, incapacity or unsound mind, abuse of position in the public interest, or the criminal convention. But importantly, before the removal, the individuals will be given a fair opportunity to be heard. And now, let's focus on the core functions and responsibilities of the NCW as outlined in the Section 10 of the Act. So know that these responsibilities cover a wide range of activities aimed at safeguarding women's rights. Some of the key functions include, firstly, investigating and examining safeguards for women provided by the Constitution and the other law. Secondly, submitting the annual reports to the central government with recommendations to improve the condition of the women. Next is reviewing existing laws that affect women and suggesting amendments to address inadequacies or the shortcomings. Also, addressing complaints and taking summary action in cases where women's rights are violated, and promoting research and awareness about the women's issues to foster a more informed society. Lastly, advising and participating in socio-economic development planning focused on the women. And as such, one recent example of the NCW in action is the fact-finding committee that arrived in Chennai on December 25th of 2024. This 2-member committee is investigating the disturbing case of a sexual assault on a 19-year-old engineering student in the Anna University campus. And this is a testament to how the NCW actively responds to the critical cases involving women's safety and rights. Now, moving on to the next article, the Indian Space Research Organization, that is the ISRO, ended 2024 on a high when the SpaDeX mission, which will demonstrate its docking capability in space, commenced Monday night. So, the PSLV C-60 workhouse lifted off from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota and successfully placed 2 satellites in the desired low Earth orbit. Furthermore, the ISRO chairperson S. Somanath said that the docking is estimated to take place on January 7th, and there is work for us in the new year to demonstrate docking as well as the experiments on the POEM. POEM here which stands for PS4 Orbital Experiment Module. So, in this context, let's talk about the SpaDeX mission and also about the POEM. Now, let's begin with the SpaDeX mission. This mission is all about mastering in-space docking technology, which is a critical capability for the advanced space operations. But what exactly is this in-space docking? Well, know that it's a process of linking 2 spacecraft while they are moving in the orbit, which is a feat that enables longer missions, satellite servicing, and even the construction of space stations. Significantly, in-space docking technology is crucial for future space operations, particularly for satellite servicing and for constructing space stations. Further, docking in space allows spacecraft to link up after being launched separately, enabling more complex and long duration space tasks, such that this technology will be integral to the operation of the Bharatiya Antariksh Station, that is the BAS, which is the India's planned space station. And further, now let's look at the details. See, the PSLV C-60 workhouse launched 2 satellites, that is the Chaser and Target, into a 470 km wide circular orbit at a 55 degrees inclination, and the satellites will follow a local time cycle of approximately 66 days. Further, these satellites, weighing 220 kg each, will demonstrate docking maneuvers, which is the primary objective of the mission. And after the docking, they will take on the secondary task like electric power transfer, which is a crucial technology for in-space robotics, spacecraft control and payload operations after the undocking. And now, let's talk about another exciting aspect of this mission, that is the PS4 Orbital Experiment Module, that is the POEM-4, which is the 4th series or 4th mission in the POEM series. Now, know that it carries 24 payloads, which is a 3-fold increase from the 8 payloads on the POEM-3. And this includes 14 payloads from ISRO and 10 from the non-government entities facilitated by the InSpace. Significantly, POEM-4 aims to achieve several scientific goals like conducting precursor experiments for future space missions, along with testing new technologies in microgravity environments, and also validating innovations that could redefine the space exploration. Moving to the next article, it says that in what seems to be a disturbing trend, there has been a significant rise in defaults among the customers who have pledged gold to secure loans. And these gold loan non-performing assets or loan defaulted by the borrowers of the banks and non-banking finance companies had risen 30% to rupees 6,696 crores as June 2024 from rupees 5,149 crores just 3 months ago. And this is all according to a data provided by the Reserve Bank of India. So well, in this context, let's talk about the gold loans. See, gold loans in India are a popular form of secured loan where borrowers pledge their gold ornaments or gold coins to a lender in exchange for the funds. And these loans are offered by a wide range of financial institutions, including banks, non-banking financial companies, that is the NBFCs, and dedicated gold loan companies. Now, let's talk about the alarming rise in gold loan non-performing assets. So, according to the Reserve Bank of India, gold loan NPAs increased by a staggering 30% from rupees 5,149 crore in March 2024 to rupees 6,696 crores in June 2024. Now, let's break this down further. See, for commercial banks, NPA surged by 62%, and meanwhile, for the NBFCs, the rise was 24%. So, what is causing the sharp increase in the defaults? So, know that the primary reasons include economic slowdown, that is, reduced income levels have made it harder for borrowers to repay their loans. Second is the high gold prices, like borrowers pledged gold to cover household expenses, education fees, and medical bills, but found themselves unable to repay when the loan amounts exceeded the gold's purchase price. Last is a lack of credit awareness. See, many borrowers were unaware that defaulting on gold loans would negatively impact their credit scores, creating long-term financial consequences. So for this, RBI has taken the action. The central bank has identified several weaknesses in the current gold loan system, including poor monitoring of loan-to-value ratios, incorrect applications of risk weights, lack of transparency during the gold auctions. So, in response to this, the RBI also directed the lenders to review their policies and practices to strengthen the loan management and also improve credit assessment processes and educate borrowers about the financial literacy. And it also introduced flexible repayment options to make it easier for the borrowers to meet their obligations. So, despite these challenges, gold loans remain a reliable financial tool for many reasons, as they come with zero prepayment charges, making them more flexible than any other loans, so that borrowers can opt for daily repayment options or pay interest only on the outstanding amount. So, gold loans offer flexible repayment structures including bullet payment options where borrowers can pay the entire amount in one go. So, these features make gold loans particularly appealing for short-term needs and serve as a vital tool for the financial inclusion, especially for those without access to the traditional credit. Now, moving to the next article, it is that NASA scientists announced that the Parker Solar Probe survived the closest ever approach to the Sun, and the craft was operating normally after it passed just 6.1 million kilometers from the solar surface. So well, in this context, let's talk about the Parker Solar Probe mission, which is by the NASA. Know that it was launched in the year 2018, which was developed as part of NASA's Leaving with a Start program to explore aspects of the Sun-Earth system that directly affect life and society on the Earth. Further, it was designed to make observations of Sun's upper atmosphere, known as the corona, and carries 4 instrument suits. Now, let's take a closer look at the probe's mission objectives. First, it is to study the Sun's corona, that is, to observe the outer atmosphere to answer the fundamental questions about the solar activity. Second is to understand solar winds, like to investigate the origins and behavior of solar winds which affect Earth's magnetic field, power grids, satellites and communication systems. Third is the space environment forecasting, that is, to contribute to the predicting changes in the space conditions that affects life and technology. Now, why is this machine so groundbreaking? Know that the Parker Solar Probe is posed to deliver scientific discoveries that could change our understanding of the Sun. For instance, it's expected to provide answers to the long-standing question like, why is the Sun's corona so much hotter than its surfaces? And also, like, temperatures in the corona reach a staggering 1 to 2 million degrees Celsius while the surface is much cooler. And also, it will also shed light on the origins and behavior of solar winds, which play a key role in shaping the space environment. And it helps better in understanding of solar winds to mitigate risk to power grids, satellites and communication systems, and also gives insights to the phenomena like northern and the southern lights. But it's not just about here and now. Also, the Parker Solar Probe addresses questions about the Sun that scientists have grappled with since the dawn of the space age. And it's a machine that connects decades of research with the future of space exploration. Looking ahead, the probe is set to send back detailed telemetry data by the January 1st, 2025, and this data will provide crucial insights for further analysis and pave the way for new discoveries about the closest star, which is the Sun. The next article is that over the past 3 years, the Centralized Public Grievance Redress and Monitoring System, or CPGRAMS, have resolved a staggering 70 lakh grievances. So, in this context, let's dive into what makes the CPGRAMS a game changer for governance in India. Let's start with the basics. Know that the CPGRAMS is an online grievance redressal platform developed by the Department of Administration Reforms and the Public Grievances. Significantly, it bridges the gap between the citizens and the government by addressing grievances swiftly and efficiently. And the key feature of CPGRAMS is its accessibility. The platform is available 24/7 via web portal, mobile app, Umang app and My Grievance app. But what makes the CPGRAMS more unique? See, each grievance gets a unique registration ID for easy tracking. Further, if you are not satisfied with the resolution, you can file an appeal, especially if the feedback is marked as poor. Plus, the grievance redress timeline have been reduced from 30 days to just 21 days. So, to ensure the efficiency, CPGRAMS follows clear guidelines. Let's take a closer look. Firstly, it connects 92 central ministries, departments and 36 states or the UTs, providing a centralized solution for the grievances. Second, each ministry and the department has appointed nodal officers to monitor and categorize grievances effectively. Thirdly, the grievances must be resolved within the 21 days and the interim replays are required if it takes the longer. Next, the appellate officers oversee escalated grievances for a quicker resolution, and also the AI-powered tools analyze feedback to identify areas for the improvement. Additionally, the ministries and departments are ranked monthly based on their performance. Also, the officers are trained under the Sevotham model to ensure service excellence. And some of the major campaigns have further boosted the CPGRAMS effectiveness. For instance, during the 4th Susashan Sapta, that is the Good Governance Week, and the Prashasan Gaun Ki Aur campaign in December 2024. So, with this, thousands of grievances were resolved across India, emphasizing citizen-first governance. The future of grievance redressal is even brighter with the launch of Next-Gen CPGRAMS, which is scheduled for July 1st of 2025. And this upgraded platform introduces exciting features like grievance filing via the WhatsApp, chatbots, and voice-to-text lodging, and also instant alerts and auto-escalation mechanisms for faster resolution, such that AI-driven tools for auto-replays and report generation is available. It comes with enhanced monitoring by grouping grievances by the sector and the ministry. So, Next-Gen CPGRAMS builds on the success of CPGRAMS 7.0 to further enhance efficiency and citizen experience. And it's not just India recognizing the success of CPGRAMS. In April 2024, the platform was acknowledged by the Commonwealth Secretariat as a model for future-ready governance. Its ability to resolve grievances swiftly and improve public safety has gained the international praise. Now, moving to the next article, Shri Justice V. Subramanian, who is the former Judge of Supreme Court of India, today assumed the charge of chairperson, and the Justice Vidyut Ranjan Sarangai as a member of National Human Rights Commission, that is the NHRC, and at a function organized to welcome them, and Shri Priyank Kannango, who joined the commission as a member last week. Know that they were appointed by the Honorable President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmu, on 21st December 2024. So in this context, let's know briefly about the NHRC, its composition and its appointments. Know that the NHRC, which is the National Human Rights Commission of India, was established on 12th of October 1993 under the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 as amended by the Protection of Human Rights Amendment Act 2006. Know that the NHRC functions in line with the Paris Principles adopted at the first international workshop on the national institutions for the promotion and protection of human rights held in Paris in October 1991. These principles emphasize the independence and effectiveness of human rights bodies worldwide. Now, let's take a closer look at the composition of the NHRC. The composition consists of a chairperson, 5 full-time members and 7 deemed members. And the chairman is a former Chief Justice of India or a Supreme Court judge. Now, if we look at the appointment and the tenure, the process of appointing the chairperson and members of NHRC is meticulous to ensure fairness and competence. So, they are appointed by the President of India based on recommendations of a 6-member committee. And the committee consists of Prime Minister, Speaker of Lok Sabha, Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, leaders of the opposition in both houses of Parliament, and the Union Home Minister. So, once appointed, the chairperson and members of NHRC hold office for a term of 3 years or until they reach the age of 70, whichever comes earlier. So, this ensures a balance between the continuity and introduction of the fresh perspectives. Well, moving to the next article, it says that a research group stabilized bilayers of lysome protein molecules on hydrophilic and hydrophobic silicon surface from solution at room temperature to imitate the actual protein adsorption in the living organisms, such that this will help in mimicking the real biological process of the ion-mediated protein adsorptions on inserted implants and the biomaterials. But before diving into the details, first let's understand the key concepts. So, let's know some of the basic terms to understand the concept. First is the lysozyme. Lysozyme means it is a model protein with 4 disulfide bonds found in tears, sweat, milk and saliva also. So, it plays a vital role in our immune defense and has a compact globular structure. Second, the ions, which are the charged particles like the Na+, which is the monovalent, Ca+2, which is the divalent, and Y+3, which is the trivalent, are critical to various biological processes such as maintaining fluid electrolyte balance, muscle contraction, and electrochemical regulation. Lastly, the protein adsorption. This refers to how protein adheres to the surfaces, and it's a key process in the bioremedial applications, especially for the implants and the biomaterials. So, now let's see the objective of this research. See, the scientists aimed to mimic ion-mediated protein adsorption on biomaterial surfaces by stabilizing lysozyme bilayers on the hydrophilic and hydrophobic silicon surfaces at the room temperature. And this approach helps replicate the biological processes that occur when implants are introduced into the human body. So, let's break down the methodology. First is the surface preparation. The researchers created lysozyme bilayers on silicon surfaces. One is the hydrophilic and other is the hydrophobic. And the ions used are like Na+, Ca+2 and Y+3 ions. And third is the lysozyme orientation, where the bottom layer of lysozyme molecules was oriented side on and the upper layer was oriented either side on or tilted, so that the stabilization occurred through a combination of hydrogen bonding, hydrophobic interactions, and also the electrostatic interactions influenced by the ionic environment. The findings were fascinating. The interaction between lysozyme molecules and the surface depended on both lysozyme-lysozyme interactions and lysozyme surface interactions, so that on hydrophilic surfaces, the lysozyme retained its native globular form, and on the hydrophobic surfaces, it exhibited a slightly elongated structure. Additionally, the contact angle on the surface increased as more lysozyme molecules formed the bilayer, indicating the stronger protein adsorption. But how is this research relevant biologically? So, it highlights the importance of ion-mediated protein adsorption, which mimics real biological processes occurring when implants are inserted into the body. And understanding how these ions influence the protein behavior on biomaterial surfaces can pave the way for designing better implants that are more compatible and functional within the living organisms. So, what are the broader implications? Know that these findings could improve the biocompatibility of implants by replicating real biological conditions, and also they contribute to understand how proteins interaction with surfaces in ionic environments helps, and this is a crucial aspect for developing the next generation biomaterials. The last article of the day is that the gross non-performing assets, that is the GNPA ratio of the scheduled commercial banks, which declined to a 12-year low of 26% in the September 2024, may rise to 3% in March 2026. So, in this context, let's talk about the NPAs. Now, let's begin with the basics. What is an NPA? Know that an NPA or non-performing asset refers to a loan or advance where the principal or interest payment remains overdue for 90 days or more. So, as you know, for banks, loans are considered assets because they generate income through interest payments. However, when the borrowers fail to pay back on time, these loans stop earning income and are classified as the non-performing, where this is a significant concern for the banks as NPAs directly affect their profitability and financial health. Now, let's look at how NPAs are classified. So, according to Reserve Bank of India guidelines, NPAs are divided into three main categories. First is a substandard asset, where loans that have been NPAs for 12 months or less. Second is the doubtful assets, where loans that remain in the substandard category for more than 12 months. Third is the lost assets, where these assets that are considered uncollectible with the minimal recovery value. However, they are not yet written off from the bank's books. Now, let's talk about the gross NPA or the GNPA. This term refers to the total value of all the NPAs before accounting for any provisions. Hence, it represents the absolute amount of loans classified as non-performing and is a critical indicator of a bank's financial health. The Reserve Bank of India regularly conducts macro stress tests to estimate the GNPA ratio, which helps in accessing the resilience of the bank's balance sheets to unforeseen macroeconomic shocks. And these tests provide the crucial insights into the potential risk and help banks prepare for the challenges. So, managing NPAs is vital for the stability of the banking sector, which is a high level of NPAs not only affects a bank's income but also reduces the funds available for lending impact the broader economy. So, we have discussed the 9 articles for the day, and as we bid farewell to this year, let's step into the new year with the courage in our hearts, clarity in our minds, and kindness in our actions. So, Team CivicCentre wishes you a very prosperous and happy new year. Thank you.